Let's talk about Ironheart and the reason why most Marvel shows that have women as leads suck. And when I say it like that, it makes me sound really sexist. I'm not sexist, guys. I'm not sexist. Women in shows, women in movies, awesome. Some of the best Marvel characters are women. Black Widow, Wanda. Captain Marvel is not one of the best, but I still have a really good time with her movies. Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, all these are great characters. It's unfortunate that their projects suck. So let's start talking about Ironheart. Like a year ago, I would have watched each episode the day they came out. They did 3 episodes and then 3 more episodes, and I would have watched them the day they came out. Now, I'm just so tired of MCU television, all this all this content, that I couldn't bring myself to do that. And so I haven't even finished the show yet. I woke up this morning and I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Ironheart episode 5 and episode 6 before the live stream tonight so I can finish talking about it. I already didn't like the show since then, but then I started episode 5 and I got about 20 minutes in. I saw how long we have left and I thought to myself, is this something I want to do on one of my days off to sit down and watch Ironheart, which is a show that I am hating and don't care about anything that's happening? No, it's not. So I clicked off Ironheart after like the restaurant fight. And I just, I played College Football 26. I rewatched The Flash, which is a movie I love. And I had a pretty good day off. I even went to eat with my family. And instead, I could have been wasting prime hours watching Ironheart, which sucks. And I got several reasons it sucks. Let's go through the episodes, shall we? I'm going to fix this real quick so you guys can see my Scream shirt. I love this Scream 6 shirt. I don't love the movie, but I love this shirt. Let's go by the episodes, shall we? And obviously, I haven't seen the ending. I read spoilers just so I can get caught up that Ironheart is an agent of Mesfito now, which is kind of cool. But the execution has been horrible. But anyways, the first episode is just mind-numbingly boring, where it's just Riri, and she's just, I'm a girl who needs money to build my Iron Man suit. How am I going to get money to build my Iron Man suit? Instantly, she is so freaking unlikable that I just don't care about this character pretty much at all. I loved her in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but in here, I could not care less. I'm sorry. But it's just her saying, yeah, I need money. So this villain group walks up to her, says, yo, we need a new technician. We've heard about you, come work for us and you're going to get a lot of money. She's like, okay, bet. She needs money so she can build her Ironheart suit, right? Right? Yeah. Pretty good story there. We've seen stories like this before where a girl or somebody needs money to build something and kind of explores poverty or something like that. And when done right, it can be a really good story. And this is what we're going to talk about here in the coming minutes, is that it's a really good story when done right, and this was not done right. Because, and I got one simple answer here, the reason she needs money to build her Ironheart suit, but how she's going to get money is going with this group of criminals that they're going to use her for her Ironheart suit. So she builds a perfectly fine Ironheart suit to get money so she can build an Ironheart suit. I'm not making this up. This is the actual story. Like, so many better ways to do this. I mean, you're trying to make us feel bad for her, like, oh, she's broke or whatever. When she's in the Tony Stark Foundation, she can get into any college she wants. She just had a scholarship with the Wakandans. Or an internship, not a scholarship, sorry. And what she's doing is trying to make us feel bad for her because she doesn't have money right now. But you can't feel bad for her because she doesn't have money, because the very next scene is her building an Ironheart suit to get money to build an Ironheart suit. It doesn't make any sense. And so that aside, which just instantly gives me a negative look on the film or on the show, because that is just atrocious screenwriting, is that she builds an AI and connects like her memory or something to that, and it makes an imprint of her dead best friend, Natalie, who she and her stepdad died in a drive-by shooting. And so this whole show, you got an AI Natalie running around. which is just it's weird. It is that by itself is weird. I mean, like she's a little bit rattled by it, but later on in the show, she with Natalie goes on a picnic and goes on a walk with this AI of her dead friend, this AI who doesn't have a soul, doesn't have a body or anything. It's code. And I don't know if they do something interesting with her in the fifth or sixth episode, because I couldn't care less. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't sit through there anymore. But like, it's weird. It's weird. She's with a bunch of code of her dead friend, and it gets even worse when her mother sees it, and her mother's like, "Can you make one of my dead husband?" Like, you instantly feel bad for the mom because she's so sad seeing this that she instantly wants one of her dead husband if she thinks that Riri can bring him back from the dead. And then in episode 4, her brother, Natalie's brother, sees it. And, you know, Riri's like, "Oh, I thought you'd be happy. Thought you'd be happy to see this code that resembles your dead sister." No, he's like a logical person. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, Riri? You freaking idiot. Why did you do this? And it's like, it's so weird. It is so weird. I don't know what these screenwriters were doing. That they can't make us care for Riri. They can't make us halfway intrigued by the story. Well, I guess I'd say I was a little bit intrigued just because of the magic part. And that was something that was a little bit interesting, was the magic part in the show. Because, like, it shows that wizards are just here in regular day life, which I thought was really interesting because it's Riri meets up with this wizard in training. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. But man, the execution of the show was boring. The action pieces weren't good. I don't care about any of the characters. Oh yeah, and you get this random side character called Ezekiel Stane. By the way, he's the son of Obadiah Stane. So from the very first MCU movie, he just randomly has a son. And I honestly didn't hate him. Like, his scenes were kind of annoying, but like, he was like at least one likable character. And you kind of feel for him because Riri lands him in jail at one point. And then he gets broken out and becomes a superhero. And the final scene of the show I watched is where he fights her in the street. They just have this little tiny scuffle. And then he's like, "Yeah, I ain't going to kill you, Riri. I know I just destroyed your suit, but I ain't going to kill you." And walks away. Like, man, who wrote this show, man? Because it's horrible. The writing in the show is horrible. And that brings me to talk about, sorry, my leg is itching. That brings me to talk about why are the MCU female-led projects so bad? Now, let's do a quick Google search here so we can find this. Every female, shoot, I spelled female wrong, led MCU project. All right, let's take a look here, okay? Let's take a look here at the female-led MCU projects. Let's start with the movies. Captain Marvel. And we're gonna go by this, okay? We're gonna go what's a win for Marvel and what's a loss for Marvel, okay? Captain Marvel, honestly, is an very underrated MCU movie. I love this movie. When I left the theater, I thought that it's not very good. But then when Disney Plus came out, I was obsessed with it, obviously, because it's a new streaming service. It's Marvel, and around that time, I was still a sucker for Marvel because I was in 2019 before I even started my YouTube career. And I rewatched this movie like 10 times, a couple times with my mom, several other times, because it's one of the most rewatchable movies in the MCU. It's got a cool mystery. It's got some good action set pieces. It's actually just a really good movie. So, I get why a lot of people don't like it. I'm not one of those people. I love Captain Marvel. That's 1 in the win column. And then you get Black Widow, which is the second of 2 or of 3 female-led MCU movies. Black Widow, it feels like it should be so much better than it is. It's still a good movie. It's got some more interesting things inside the MCU that I do like. So there's that. But the movie also has a little bit of a weak script. Should have been so much better. But it's still a very watchable MCU movie, and I think every time I revisit it, I like it a little bit more and a little bit more. That's 2 in the win category. That is 2 wins for Marvel. And then you got the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels, that has Captain Marvel, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, who I absolutely adore. And The Marvels is a completely generic MCU movie, quite like the newest Captain America movie, and it's completely watchable. It is completely fine. I like the villain a bit more than most. I find that her arc was good, even though I can't remember her name or anything. But the movie's completely generic. I'm not going to give it as a loss for Marvel though, because it's watchable. So that's 3-0 for the movies. But what's the theme here? The script. You know, the script for the Marvels doesn't do anything interesting with the Marvels. The script for Black Widow definitely holds the movie back. And a lot of people complain about the script for Captain Marvel, even though I don't get it that bad. That's going to be a theme to come. Female-led TV series is Marvel gets a 4-0 start, a 4-0 start with WandaVision. I really like WandaVision. When I first watched it, I found the shtick to get a little bit old, but when I revisited it last year, I adored this show. It had this horror theme. It had a mystery here that was instantly always compelling. Agatha was a great villain, so just a movie or show rather, that I really dug until the finale. So that's 4-0. That's a 4-0 start. I think that script is the strongest out of any of the ones we've talked so far. And here we go, boys and girls. Here's where we get interesting. Miss Marvel, my least favorite MCU series. My least favorite MCU project, actually, because Miss Marvel is trash. It's awful. I mean, they take Miss Marvel, who's supposed to be this neighborhood superhero, a lot like Spider-Man. She's just protecting wherever she's from. Shoot, I forget where she's from. And then they take her and you put her on this giant quest to stop these bad guys who are getting these ancient objects and destroying the world. And then you completely end that plot line in the 5th episode. And then in the finale, you get what you actually wanted. So the finale was actually watchable. But the rest of the show, the script was just horrible. Horrible, man. I mean, like, it doesn't choose what it wants to be. Its story is just so inconsistent, where you get a whole episode where she's back in the past for some weird reason. And Iman Vellani's awesome performance as a character couldn't save the show. Marvel gets their first loss. It's 4-1. All right. Hawkeye, it features Kate Bishop, but its main focus is Jeremy Renner, so we're not including that. She-Hulk. Okay, this is an interesting one because I don't like the show, but I like it better than most people, which is really weird. I find the show watchable. I think that there's some fun adventure in there, some comedy aspects, but that last episode completely ruined the show for me. I'm sorry. I mean, I get it. A lot of people say, if it was Deadpool, you'd be fine with it. Well, yeah, because when Deadpool goes into the MCU, he's there by accident. She's a part of the MCU, and she just breaks free, goes into Disney Plus, and just completely changes the ending of her show by talking to Kevin, who's a robot. Breaks all continuity inside the MCU for one simple little stupid gag. Yeah, kind of ruins the show for me. So, unfortunately, I have to give She-Hulk a loss. 4-2. This is not it. Let me go to the Screen Rant one. Wait, are they ranking it here? Yes, they are ranking. It doesn't matter. At least it'll tell us. Okay, so there's 10 projects. So Black Widow, we already talked about that. The Marvels, already talked about that. She-Hulk, already talked about that. See, do I want to include? I guess we can talk about Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I guess. Technically, it's a female-led one. I don't consider it in the same boat as the others, though, because it's still a good movie, but it has plenty of flaws because of the crappy hand that they were dealt. But I still think that it did really good with Chadwick Boseman's legacy, and it's one of the most emotional MCU films. Yeah, let's give a point. 5-1. 5-1. Or 5-2, actually. Okay, so Jessica Jones, we're not counting that because I love the first season of Jessica Jones. Eternals is not female-led. Captain Marvel, already talked about that. Echo, yes, let's talk about Echo. And for some odd reason, they have Echo at 3. I did not like this show. Had a very strong start with episode 1 and a pretty decent episode 2. Some great action sequences in here. Just completely brutal action sequences. But the story is not good, where Like halfway through the show, you just get a throwaway episode. And mind you, the show's like only 5 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes. And then the season finale sets up to be a really cool one. And then they rush all the conflicts to be completed in like 3 minutes. So I just left the show thinking that it had potential, but it left off number 3 in the bad. So it's 5-3. The bad is catching up. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, take that down. If I'm not mistaken, we got 2 more. Agatha and Ironheart. Agatha had a rocky start. Thought I was going to hate it. Didn't even think I was going to complete watching it. But the more the show goes on, the more I got invested in the story, the more I got invested in these characters. And by the end, I was actually completely invested. We had a solid finale. The finale took it so differently than the rest of the show that I think it had some solid emotions, answered some questions, and I left the show like, you know what? That was a pleasant surprise in the time of the MCU, which I didn't think it would work. So that's a win, 6-3. And so obviously the victories are going higher than the defeats, but that means that the problem with it is the scripts. That's where we talk about Ironheart. The script. Let's go through these projects again. Captain Marvel, script issue. Black Widow, script issue. Miss Marvel, script issue. Miss Marvel, script issue. Trying to think. She-Hulk, script issue, big script issue. WandaVision doesn't have a script issue. Agatha all along, it did have a script issue. Ironheart, script issue. So it's nothing about the females that turn these shows off for me. It's nothing that it's led by females or has female themes. That's not why. It's because the shows and movies are given are almost taking, like the writers are almost taking no time to write the show. They're taking no time to actually try to make it a watchable show or movie. Well, besides the movie, I think the movies work. Because they're just like saying, they're just pooping out a script, sitting down on the pot, and then they take a big scoop and put it on a script. And that's what it is. The Ironheart script sucks. The She-Hulk script sucks. The Miss Marvel script sucks. They all suck. The script writers. It's not the female's fault. It's the script writers. So I was just thinking about that. Like, why every time a female-led MCU project am I just like, here we go again. And so I just wanted to explain myself because, like, it's unfortunate. MCU has some awesome female characters. I love Miss Marvel. I love Ironheart in the comics. Agatha is a really cool character. Wanda is great. Captain Marvel I love. So it's not the characters. It's not the characters. It's the script.